This is Mr. Bonneman here talking about L3. Kind of probably, in my opinion, one of the more challenging ones. Especially, again, I did one for T4. I recommend doing T4 before T3, actually. So here's T3. I have the absolute value of T plus 2 is greater than or equal to 4. So with this one, again, remember for these, we always start positive. I always like to do positive. Again, when I have positive, all I do is just take off the brackets. So I have T. It's kind of tricky here with this plus sign, the T's. So T plus 2 is greater than or equal to 4. So all you do is just take off the brackets and solve for the variable. So subtract 2, subtract 2, and I get T less than or equal to 2. Okay, so there's the positive. And then again for the negative, for my negative, again, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change the sign in the brackets. So again, if T here is positive, well then it's going to be negative. So negative T, and then this is positive 2, so now it's going to be negative 2. Like that. Okay, and then I still have my less than or equal to 4. So next I'm going to solve for my variable. So plus 2, I have then negative T. And then I have this is going to be 6. Okay, not done yet. Again, when I have this negative T, I can't just leave it like that. Remember, this is like saying negative 1T. So I'm going to divide each side by negative 1. Okay, just like that. And then that leaves me down here with T. When I divide by or multiply by a negative or with a negative, I'm going to switch the sign. And then I have 6 divided by negative 1 is negative 6, like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase this top part, and I'm just going to kind of leave this bottom part here so I can kind of show you the next step of this. So here I kind of have my two answers here. So what I like to do for this is I just like to make a quick number line. Okay, so I'm going to flip this for a second just to make sure this is okay. So if here I have negative 6, 0, and 2, always just make sure you have your number line looking okay. So again, what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to make sure that everything looks good. So I'm going to put my closed dot, my closed circle on negative 6. And again, I'm going to follow the arrows. So if my arrow is telling me to go this way, just like that. Okay, so I'm following the arrow. And then here I'm going to put one on 2. And my arrow is telling me to go this way. Okay, so this kind of tells me what I'm going to be doing here. So when they're going opposite directions like this, I'm just going to write kind of my answers here. So if I have T, and then I'm just going to say, okay, and negative 6. So just like I have on my board. And then this is an OR because they go both ways, like that. Okay, and then I have T is greater than or equal to 2. So if they're going opposite directions like this, that is an OR. Okay, now when they go and they kind of meet like that, that's an AND. Okay, it's kind of the way we can think about that. So if they're going opposites, they're OR. If they're meeting, they're AND. Okay, so let me jump to another one that's a little bit more challenging. All right, let's try this one. So these are kind of challenging, but once you get the hang of them and you kind of start to understand the rules, they're not too bad. So we have 1 minus the absolute value of Q is less than negative 8. So here we have that. Again, pretty easy. The positive one, I still always like to label. all I'm going to do is drop the brackets. So I have 1 minus q and then negative 8. So just like that. So next I'm going to get rid of my number. So again, remember, keep in mind this is a positive one. So to get rid of the positive one, I have to subtract, just like that. So minus 1. Okay, that gives me negative q. And then negative 1 minus, or negative 8 minus 1 is negative 9. Again, if you're not sure about these, feel free to use a calculator. It's okay. So again, hopefully you're starting to see when I have something that looks like this, that means you know that I'm dividing by negative 1 to get rid of that negative. And when I divide by a negative, I have to change the sign. So that gives me q. And then negative 9 divided by negative 1 is positive 9, just like that. Okay, now for the negative, all I'm going to be doing is kind of the same thing, except this q, because it's in the brackets, it's just changing signs. Well, if this is positive q, well, now it's going to be negative q. So here I have 1 minus negative q. So notice how that minus is still there. And then we have negative 8, just like that. So hopefully when you see this, you say, oh, I know what I have to do. I have to go like this. Yep, so we turn those positives. I still have to isolate my variable. So this is a positive one, so subtract 1. Like that. And positive q is just q. And then negative 1 minus, negative 8 minus 1 is negative 9. Just like that. Okay. So, again, I'm going to kind of keep my last step here. And then really important with these is that you make a number line. So on my number line, when I go ahead and I make it, doesn't have to be fancy. I know that I'm going to have negative 9. I like to put 0 on there, and then I have 9. But it's not a very fancy number line. I just make sure I have my numbers on them, because the most important thing is the arrows. So notice with these, I know these are going to be open circles. So here I have, I'm going to put an open circle on negative 9. I'm following the arrows. And then here's this on, oops, open circle. Follow your arrows, just like that. Again, if they were to meet in the middle when you're following the arrows, that's an and, okay? This one again appears we have an or, because they're going opposite directions. So again, I'm just writing it just like I have it. Again, this is an or, because they're going opposite directions. Again, just writing it just like I have it on my board. Making sure, just double checking, you don't want to make a mistake at this point, otherwise it'd be heartbreaking. Good. Okay, so that's my video on L3. I hope that helps you out. If you want more help with that, again, please message me on Google Classroom or send me an email. I'm more than happy to do more challenging ones if that's what you need, or just more examples, but otherwise I will just continue to make some because it's the end of the quarter. So I'm going to make a couple extra ones just to help you out on some of those hard ones for the end of the quarter. So hope everybody's doing well. Miss you all at school, and I hope you have a great day.